You got it? Yeah,
we are going. There's numbers happening.
There's numbers happening. That's a good sign. Chris, you're tired of me? Everybody, welcome back to another episode of StratOCast. This is episode 11.
This must not happen to you a lot, eh?
It's a big deal.
You're a big guy.
This doesn't happen that much, but dude, yeah, it's a good having you here, man.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. Chris is we used to play football together back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you only play one season of Raiders?
Yeah, just
same
the
with
one
me,
year.
Man. Yeah, same with me. It was just that 1 year for me. But fuck, that was fun. That was a great year, hey? That was probably the best year of football in my life.
That was a lot of fun. Like for myself, like I played sports my whole life, and that was like the 2 years from high school ending to that point. Like I didn't play any sports, and I missed playing sports so much. And then, getting back in like the team atmosphere and like playing a sport again was so much fun. And I had a lot of fun. I remember a rookie skit.
Oh yeah,
remember how we remade the bound
We had the best. We were in the skit night together.
Yeah,
we had the crew. Oh my god, we were the best skit night crew ever.
Yeah, we kicked ass. Brucey was in there too, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't even there that main camp.
Oh,
Novak
was there. He was with us.
Novak was with us. Kurt Parsons.
Yeah,
that's all I remember. I think.
Yeah, we had a good crew, and Dexter was our captain or something.
Dexter
I guess
and Ryan.
Yeah,
fuck, love those guys.
Yeah, that was good times.
That was good times.
Playing Raiders is awesome, man.
The reason I brought you here, though, what are you up to these days? You actually have your own podcast, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I do. I guess not technically my own. It's funny, I got pulled in onto a podcast in similar ways. Like, so I'm on Rink Podcast, hockey show. We do a radio show every Sunday as well. Podcast comes out every Friday. And it's funny, like, same reason of me getting on this podcast as well was just, I reached out to them and I was like, man, I like what you guys are doing. And
oh, really? That's how you just reached out to them?
Yeah, so they had 5 episodes already, or they had 4 episodes without me. Then I joined in on episode 5. Yeah. And we just released 49 last night. So coming up on 50, you can have a big party for that and film a nice drunk hockey episode because
that's cool.
Yeah, it goes along good. But it was funny the way that they brought me in was I was calling into the TSN radio station all the time and being like, Faber from Nanaimo. That was me. Like I always called in and was texting in. And then they're like, oh, you should come do an episode with us because they heard me so much on the radio station. And then that just. We've been going strong for almost a year now.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, and
I really like that. I love that. That's amazing.
It totally just happened. It's 2 guys that I went to high school with, Isha and Dylan. A couple of guys that just know hockey very well as well. And they started,
Oh, wow.
And it started out kind of just, it's changed, it's evolved so much. Our podcast, our show has just changed so much in a year. We have so much structure now compared to the first 10 episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and everything runs like a nice machine now. It almost feels like, especially when we get to the radio show.
That's cool. You say the first 10 episodes. The first 10 episodes that we just passed that, it's been a shit show.
Yeah, basically. You're just trying shit.
We're all over the place. We try whatever we can. You're my second guest now, basically.
Yeah.
Bruce is always around, and Logan, again, the other guy that's on here.
Logan is crazy, man.
He's always around too.
I don't know if that's an insult, but he's I mean it in the nicest way.
He's crazy. He hasn't gotten his episode. I feel haven't done him justice quite yet.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get one where he's amazing.
He can talk. He's a podcast guest.
He's amazing.
He definitely needs to be on.
When we just need to get him on a good idea and just capture something really magical because that guy's amazing. He was here just last night. We were gonna record something. And we just ended up talking for hours, and we just we had such good conversation, and I'm like, dude, we just need to sit down and record this, and we just didn't because we're just so enthralled with each other. Oh, we had such a good time. But
it's funny, we did something similar last night.
He's hard on camera though. He just changes up a little bit.
Yeah,
it's just the way it just happens, to some people.
He can go forever though, man. I'm sure you could probably just zone out for 2 hours and he could probably just talk to you the whole time, right?
You could not that's stop. Why the inspiration, he was totally the inspiration for the whole thing, because he could just film him and boop,
is that why did you want to start the podcast, your own podcast?
Well, basically I've talked about it in other ones obviously, but he inspired me because he's so energetic and so has such good ideas to express, and they're long and they're rambly, whatever, but I'm like, dude, if we could just film this, people could see this would be awesome because you have such great ideas, good views. And he's like, dude, people have said that I do my own TV show my whole life, and I'm like, fuck, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And we're like, it's definitely an idea. So we thought about it for 2 years, like we said, and then eventually, I listened to a lot of Joe. He was obsessed with Joe Rogan, and he got me obsessed with it basically. And I've just been listening to all these podcasts, and they're really great. As far as I can tell, the way media is changing these days. I didn't listen to any. I can basically right now. I'm obsessed with podcasts, and 2 years ago.
Oh, me too.
I didn't listen to any of them.
I'm the exact same boat as you here. Yeah.
Exactly, and as far as I can tell, they're an amazing medium. They express ideas better. You find friends.
Yeah.
They're basically your friends. I know Joe Rogan. He's my buddy.
Yeah.
He's in here all the time. I can't wait till virtual reality where I can literally sit in this fucking podcast studio and just be like, yeah, dude, preach. And all that. I started with the Minimalist podcast. I thought they were great. They had some really good values and like some good ideas to share. And then
I like the idea behind that one. I haven't checked it out yet, but I've heard you talk about it.
They just
on
have
this
good. The way they talk, they're really prepared for each podcast, and they have good ideas. They speak in analogies.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job. They have some good stuff.
But you were talking about listening to podcasts. Like,
good.
The different thing for me is like I like it at work. So like when I'm at work, I got a headphone in.
I can't do it at work for some reason. I just do it. I literally do it.
Or driving around.
The only thing I do when I'm at home.
Yeah.
On Spotify, I am able to listen to it while I'm at work when I'm delivering pizzas now, because of Spotify and how awesome it is.
Yeah.
There's like I just found the Duncan Trussell podcast on there, and changing my life now that's on Spotify because Spotify's so great.
Yeah.
Which reminds me that this is going to be on Spotify.
Yeah.
And all our podcasts from now on are going to be on Spotify. Just search up StratOCast. It's going to be awesome, guys. Spotify. Where was I going with that? Yeah, I just listen to them whenever I can, basically.
Yeah, for myself, it just like gets you through the week so much better than listening to radio, like hearing the same 15 songs.
Or songs, yeah.
Like it just kills. Like, and it's funny because sometimes I do switch. Like I'll switch over to music a little bit, do like a half an hour sesh, but then I just get back into like a 4-hour Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, I don't know. It's definitely crazy. I like.
And I'll listen to the same ones over and over again.
Yeah.
Like I'll have favorites, and I'll be like that Duncan Trussell with like 1170 or like 1075 or like 666.
Yeah.
Like I'll always jump to those ones, and I'll be like, yep, just love it. I'll listen to them like 5 times. Like I've listened to the same podcast at least
4-hour show 5 times. That's crazy.
Absolutely. Like it's crazy how much I love them.
Yeah, and I just started listening to like Joe myself, like probably maybe 2 weeks ago. So I've explored like the guests that I really enjoy. The guy that I listened to Gary Vaynerchuk's one the other day.
His isn't the best, but I
loved hearing him talk like that because the way that I follow him as well on a lot of social media, and like he's great. He really inspires people, but he talks the same thing every time, like in all his videos.
Totally.
Every kind of thing that he's giving out, it's the same thing, and it's always back to the same story. But with Joe, like Joe kind of, I was hoping that he was gonna like pick away some things from Gary Vee, and he kind of did. And hearing hearing Gary Vee talk about hooking up with chicks a little bit more, like it was like saying stuff that was really different, and that's what I like about podcasts. That's what I think Joe Rogan does so well.
Well,
too.
The thing about Joe's is he does whatever the fuck he wants. He goes and he talks about whatever he wants, and that's what I wanted to do with this one. That's what the idea was at first, anyway. The StratOCast can be literally whatever I want it to be.
Yeah.
But the idea down the road is maybe we'll rebrand it, maybe we'll rename it and do whatever we want with it. Use this as a learning process, and then take what we learned here and make something completely new.
Yeah.
But right now, it's so fun to do whatever I want, basically. Like you coming on, like it was amazing that you reached out to me, and like everything that I've seen on. I haven't watched an episode of yours, unfortunately, because like
it's hard when you don't like hockey. Like,
I hate hockey.
It's really hard. Yeah.
It's the sport that I like the least, probably, and especially is it about the Canucks? Like the team I like the least, unfortunately. Like I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I just don't like anything about it.
That's totally fair.
But I follow you guys on Instagram, and I follow you on Instagram, and the clips that you guys have are fucking awesome. Like you kill it. You're really good.
Thanks,
Your voice is awesome. And
yeah,
you kill it.
I've always like heard like when I start telling people like when I was first doing this, like, oh, I'm doing a podcast and like doing a radio show, like they're like, your voice totally sounds like a radio show. Like you already sound like it. I'm like, really? Like, because in my head, my voice sounds like Samuel L. Jackson. But like when I hear it in person, I'm like, that's not what it sounds like in my head. In my head, I sound like real badass. But like on the hearing it back on the radio was weird the first few times, but then like
get weird.
Now it's totally just like, I don't know. It's so much fun. Like I look forward to going in Sundays for the 2 hours that we do live on radio. Hardest part's not swearing because in the podcast, like we're having some drinks, we're like smoking, and then like the radio, like we're counting like our F-bombs. Like Dylan right now has done a couple.
There was one podcast where I listened to the other day, and I'm like, I said fuck like a lot, and I'm like, shit, I probably should not say it as much, but I fucking like saying fuck.
Yeah, when I like have a guest on one of my shows and they swear once, I try and like swear a bunch, so like, oh, I don't feel bad about swearing. Like I had Dexter on my show a few weeks ago, my other football show that I just started.
Dexter Shea?
Yeah, so he came on and he dropped an F-bomb, and I remember saying like fuck like 20 times after like 5 minutes after that to make him like feel comfortable about it.
Yeah, that's
funny. He came on the other week and we just kind of talked about, because started a football show as well. I mean, if you want to check that out as well. Yeah, it's called Football with Faber. I didn't think of the idea. I feel like I need a better name. But Vancouver on Sports Talk, who is run by my producer and my editor and everything. He runs Vancouver on Sports Talk. So we have Stick and Rink. That's our hockey show. It's like our main show. Then Football with Faber. That's the one that we kind of just started. And then
we have help doing that one?
Yeah.
You have assistants?
Yeah.
Lucky guy.
Oh, it's awesome, man. It's like, if Isha ever ends up seeing this, by the way, he does all the editing, all the producing. He does a lot of behind-the-scenes work. I can just go out there and talk for 35 minutes and then just email it off.
Oh, that's lucky.
And he does a kick-ass job. If I ever need clips, it's nice.
I love all of it, though. Like, I like the whole thing, like I said. I like being the host. I love talking to people.
Yeah.
I like learning about the audio engineering and the editing and stuff, because I'm taking that and I'm doing that stuff, like, basically with freelancing. I'm making some videos for people and shit. That's what I want to do in the future, kind of like freelance to business.
So that's your ultimate goal, and this is, like, helping you kind of with the podcast, right?
Yeah, totally. Like, before, like I said, I probably said it before, but before I started this, I had no knowledge with anything with computers, software, like literally you name it. I didn't know what the hell you were talking about, the language, and I also just got into photography. I bought a camera, and like, dude, one of my favorite activities right now is just getting high and going for a walk and just taking photos. It's so fun. It's just amazing. I just love it. And it's a new thing that a new passion that I'm trying to cultivate. Again, with the longboarding thing. I wiped out the other day after I went high. I got high. I took some photos. Then I went longboarding and just ate shit.
Do you think it's a lot harder when you're high? Like a lot harder?
I don't think so.
No? You think it's like just chill?
Well, everything is fine when I'm high personally. I think everything. I'm better at everything when I'm high personally. But again, I think everybody's very different on that kind of substance. But I handle it well. But,
so like for me, the way that like getting into the podcast and like similarly you want to do this kind of work, for myself it'd be like to actually be in like sports radio would be like the ultimate goal.
That's what Bruce really wants to do.
Yeah,
because me and Bruce actually, did you know this, that we used to broadcast like live games to like our old high school and shit?
Yeah, I've heard you guys talk about it on the show.
Yeah, we used to do that, and that was so much fun. That really got us into it, just the idea, just like talking to people, broadcasting, especially him. He's really good at commentating like live games.
Yeah, like
from a booth, if he were to do that. He did it for the Timbermen for a while, too.
Oh, right on.
Fucking good at it, man. He's really, really good.
I'm starting this fall. Like, I'm doing all ND's games. Like, NDS's football games.
Yeah.
I'm doing them all in the fall. And I'm also doing the Buccaneers, the Nanaimo Buccaneers hockey team here.
Like, live broadcasting?
Yeah, so I'm going to start, like, the play-by-play.
Oh, sweet.
I'm working, because, like, I feel like play-by-play is hard, because, like, you have to, like, call it how it's happening. I want to be like the color guy who just like spits in bullshit every like few seconds. That's a lot more fun.
I like the regular, but both of it are fun. But I kind of like
sure.
just making it your own. If you just like tell them what's happening, but even if you just make it your own with your voice, you know.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a really good voice, it would probably be more fun.
There's a guy who does he does the Vancouver Canadians. If you know their baseball team over, like a single A minor league team. But
I don't know.
There's this guy named Rob Fay, and he has like a late night sports show on TSN. I'm a huge fan of him. But he calls baseball games by himself, so like that's got to be the hardest thing to do to keep it entertaining. But he tells like hilarious stories. Like he's a really good storyteller, and he's got a great voice, and just like he's funny. Like
that's cool.
To call a baseball game for 3 hours, like I don't know if you ever watched it. It's boring.
No, I
right?
like baseball.
Yeah.
It's one of the sports. My mom's obsessed with the Blue Jays for the last few years, and she's like gotten me. She watches it every single game, so how can I not see some of the fucking games?
Yeah.
So but once you get to know all the players on those baseball games, those baseball teams, it's a lot more entertaining because you get like involved with the characters. You start liking this guy, you start hating this guy because he keeps fucking up. This guy because he's a killer. Kevin Pillar's my favorite personally.
Yeah, I was a big baseball guy like in high school. That's actually where I got a scholarship down to Jarvis Christian, a school with 98% black people. So,
really?
Yeah.
Whoa,
that was like where I got a scholarship.
Did you went there?
I actually broke my ankle. Got this big old scar there on the side.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, I broke my ankle like.
I've rolled my ankles like at least 10 times each, but I've never maybe like broken it that bad.
Yeah.
But I've rolled them like every way you can.
Oh yeah, for sure. I got shit ankles, Steve. I was always rolling my ankles.
Not for a few years now though. Not since football, which has been awesome.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, when we strap them up so hard in football too, like I just always remember that, like how hard we'd tape your ankles just to like keep yourself like functioning.
And it would still get fucked up.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, for sure.
Crazy. Football's a tough sport. All those sports are tough. It's I've personally I've really taken a step back from like watching sports, especially football and like some other ones, just because basically time. I want some other shit to do. And oh man, like these days it's just crazy to kind of watch it. And I know it's not, but like I just get like they're just like the collisions in football, and like after watching things like concussion, I know they're getting like CTE, and just like they're just sacrificing their bodies so hard.
Yeah.
I watched The Waterboy the other day, a movie I love.
I just watched it. It was on TV the other day. I stumbled across it.
There's this quote that the coach says. He's like getting them pumped. He's like, "Go, sacrifice your bodies, sacrifice your bodies." And I laughed my ass off at that as my guess. They're just like killing themselves almost for like crazy amounts of money. I get it, but it's just brutal to watch sometimes.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I love it, but sometimes I'm just like, oh my god, what is this?
Yeah, and I think players have like accepted it. Like they know, like, when we saw the injury, like, I don't know if you saw, but the Ricky Ray injury that happened last weekend in the CFL, like,
no.
neck injury got carted off. Yeah, it does anybody, but like, Ricky Ray was like getting carted off, like, and it was like really sad, like, at the end of his career. Like, you obviously know Ricky Ray's name a little bit, right? So old,
he must be like 48.
Yeah, so like he's at the end of his career, and people are at like he's getting, you know, like in a stretcher being taken off, and it's like the guys all know, like, when you play football, though, like, you need to know that that's part of the game as well.
It can happen
like,
at any moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You could be paralyzed from the neck down at any moment, but like you said, they make so much money. But that's part that I don't think that, like, that people that are outsider of, like, haven't played football before.
Not in the CFL, though.
Yeah. But, like, people from the outside, they don't see that. Like, they don't know that, like, people, like, we played football. We knew that could happen at some point. Like, we knew that. Like, totally. I think that people on the outside see that, and they're like, oh, they don't know, like, what they're doing in their bodies, but, like, we really understand the worst thing that could happen. Like, you think about it. It's in the back of your mind at some point.
Yeah, but, like, not some of them, dude. You
gotta
realize,
right.
Not all those guys that play this, like, especially some of the guys that we played with.
Yeah, there was some guys that were just
we're
fucking crazy.
O&D line. We're not, like, middle linebacker, safety, running back. Are you fucking receiver?
That's true, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That's
like,
true.
I don't know, you gotta have balls to play that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah. That's what, like, my mom hated me playing football. It's like, she wanted me to play baseball all the time, and, like, baseball, I was probably better at it than football. I just happened to go to ND, so, like, our team sucks. So I was really good at ND. But, like, she always hated that. She's like, yeah, you're going to be in, like, a huge collision. I'm like, Mom, I'm, like, the biggest guy on the team. I have to, like, move, like, a foot. Like, the biggest amount of contact I have is, like, moving a foot into another guy.
Yeah.
Like,
it's contact every play, but it's not... And especially if you're good at it, use your hands. And you don't get your head involved, then it's
exactly.
better.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I honestly ever had a concussion playing football, I don't think.
No, me neither.
I don't think
the only thing I ever did was my ankles got a real beating.
Yeah.
My back never... I hurt my back, but it was from work, not during football.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was my only serious injury that's affected me my whole life now.
Yeah.
I just saw a guy the other day that I used to play football with, a little bit younger than me, and he's like, said he just had back surgery, and I'm like, oh my god, like, Jesus Christ, I couldn't imagine, like, fuck. Like,
I had a cracked
happened?
tailbone
He's like,
against
Barsby.
Like, Barsby cracked my tailbone one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, play was like 50 yards downfield, and some dickhead just fucking just killed me.
Oh, God.
Cracked my tailbone, and I was like, man, that sucked. That was probably the only, like, bad injury I really had, though.
Yeah, I never...
Aside from my broken ankle.
I got blocked in the back one time when we threw a pick, and, like, just smashed my head right in the fucking turf. And I felt like it was the most, like, dazed I ever felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, boy, that was illegal. Worst flag, first of all. And but never got concussed or anything. That was like the hardest hit I ever got.
Yeah, when your head is, like, hitting the ground, like, when that's, like, a point of contact, that's probably, like, the worst part that can definitely happen. Like, I've definitely felt woozy a couple times, but I remember guys that were, like...
All sports have that, you can get concussed anywhere. My mom got a concussion. She tripped over a base in baseball and, like, just smashed her head on the ground and got a concussion. Yeah. I remember that.
Point of contact with the head, but it's so much more prevalent in football that the head gets in contact. But, you can get it in anything, man. Like... The worst injuries I still see, like, and, like, speaking of baseball, is ones that, like, when a pitcher gets a comebacker and it hits him in the head.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is the most... I had that happen to me when I was pitching one time.
Jesus,
I think I was 15 years old, and it hit me in the neck.
Oh.
And so, like...
Crushed your windpipe.
I couldn't talk, and I called my mom, and I'm like, hey, Mom, by the way, like, I got hit in the throat when I was pitching, and she's like, why didn't you get your glove up there? Like, that's what she said in response to that.
Perfect response.
I was like, I tried.
Perfect response.
Yeah, but it was funny because it went into my shirt. So when I pulled the ball out, he was actually still out. Like, I'd caught it. It didn't hit the ground. So, like, hit me in the neck, went into my jersey, pulled it out, and the guy was out. So that was kind of cool, but, like, also really sucked because I got hit in the neck with a baseball.
Yeah, that would hurt. Was it softball or fastball?
Baseball, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Even more brutal.
Dude, it sucked. It really sucked.
I can imagine.
Plus, I think we were, like, 15 years old, so, like, guys were just starting to get big and, like, actually hit the ball hard at that point. So.
Damn.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun playing in that league, like the BCPBL. It's there's like a lot of major leaguers that have actually came out of it.
I want to get into a beer league one day.
Yeah.
I've been doing more sports, like I said, I've mentioned again, but I've rock climbed, I'm longboarding. I've always been saying I want to do a beer league, but I think it'd be a lot of fun. I want to start Muay Thai too, really bad.
Muay Thai?
Yeah, Muay Thai or like some jiu-jitsu maybe.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've become obsessed with Joe Rogan.
Right.
And I use like all his.
You're one of his followers now.
Fight some shit, dude. His kicks. Have you ever seen his videos on like him?
I've seen the
bags?
one that's like really popular of him destroying that bag. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like I watched that video a lot, and a few other ones. I've been practicing my kicks just in this alley. I just practiced that shit, and I've gotten pretty good.
That's some movie type shit.
Dude,
practicing kicks in an alley.
Good. Yeah, I practiced kicks in an alley, and now I want to go to Muay Thai and kick the shit out of a real person. However, I am a pussy, and I want to get depussified and go to Muay Thai and get my ass kicked and learn how to actually fight.
There's a guy that I work with who's a huge fan of Joe Rogan as well, and he's just telling me about, doing jiu-jitsu, like, here in town.
It's cool stuff.
He said it's cool, like, learning it right off the bat. Like, when I was younger, I did taekwondo for a few years, and then I also was kickboxing from like the age of
cool.
7 to like 15 probably.
Oh, really? Cool.
So like I haven't gone back and gone into it because it was a lot of fun, but the fights, like when I'm a pretty big guy. When I was 10, 12 years old and like fighting like competitively, it was really funny because I'd fight a guy who's like way smaller than me because it was just age groups, like it wasn't size really. I'd fight a guy that was my size and it'd be a good fight, but I'd like fight some little shrimp and just kick the shit out of him. I was like, man, like I didn't lose for a long time, but then when I fought someone my size,
it's crazy how much just size can just really just play the entire,
especially at that age, because no matter how
no
matter how good of a boxer you're at 12, you're still 12 years old. Like
you're going down, buddy.
You can't be amazing at that point. So that was a lot of fun. Like doing that. It was probably a lot of fun because I was bigger than everyone. Like same reason I liked football so much because I was bigger than everyone and it was always really easy. Like
same for me. I was really big when I was playing football. I was like 350.
Yeah.
And I never really noticed it really at the time. But the best part probably of my game was just being so fucking heavy. Nobody could just push me around. I remember first play, Ash Guy like comes at me the first time I ever played at practice field. Like I was like nervous as fuck. Ash Guy, like we've all heard like he's like a legend basically. Like, this guy's huge. He's gonna destroy everybody.
Especially you going to bars, him being a few years older than you. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, first play, go, and he like runs into me. I'm like huge, and he just doesn't do. I'm just super huge basically, and I just kind of fall on top of him. And I was like, holy shit, I won that round.
You're like, yes.
Yeah, I was just like mind blown. Just my sheer size, I think was able to dominate at that point.
Yeah, that's such a big piece in football for sure too. Like the number one skill you can have in football is size. Like that's what I think.
The Crows.
Yeah, they're getting closer, eh?
They were very calm for that whole time. Now they're flying away. So thank you, Crows. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, before we started this, they were going off, man. That
I was nervous.
It would have been funny to have in the background.
The Crows, but it's been good. The weather's been good to us.
Yeah, it's a half decent day. I was planning on going camping. It's Canada Day weekend. I guess we should mention
Is
too.
It? I don't.
It's a long weekend. That's the only thing.
I don't recall holidays. No, I never have a long weekend. Like that, those holidays never affect my life. So
really?
I don't even know how it affects other people's lives.
Oh, I'm in a cushy union job, so like
holidays
are like
people.
holidays are like known like months in advance.
That's
like
hilarious.
I knew this was coming.
No, not me. Fucking driving Panago car. I work tonight. It's gonna be awesome. Work at 5 o'clock. Working late these days.
At least you work at the best pizza though. Like Panago's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it is good. Like they give me free meals, so I'm really able to make some good money in tips. I'm able to basically cheap out as much as I can, save some money right now. It's a good little gig that I have.
Yeah.
And the one that I work at is apparently like the 3rd busiest one in Canada.
Really?
Just here in Harewood. Yeah. Yeah.
Because for a long time I used to manage the A&W out in the mall. And that was like the busiest one for a long time.
Oh yeah, like, I remember you coming out. I remember coming out there and seeing you.
If I knew you, I'd be like waving people down to come get free burgers. Yeah, I was probably the worst manager ever. Like I gave away a lot of free food to all my friends and everything. But you know, I remember doing
the best manager. Dude. Like that's fucking awesome.
The best part, like I really like that job, and especially being the manager is cool. Like to build the groups of like building your like workforce with like people that you like, and then people that didn't get along or didn't like fit nice with our group of people that we had at A&W because there's only about 12 people.
Yeah.
If you didn't fit in with us, we fire them and and it was cool like building this. It was like building a work site almost. That's like cool. Building a workforce.
Someone that you like to at least be. You know what I mean? Someone that's not terrible to be.
Yeah, exactly. And like having that was so much fun because you liked everyone that you work with. Like you liked coming into work.
Yeah.
Even though it's such a shit job, like getting your ass kicked in the mall all day long. Like Boxing Day, dude, in the mall. At A&W, we would sell like up to like $12,000. Yeah,
that was my first job.
Yeah,
Toys R Us in your Christmas time in the mall. Jesus
I hated working the mall. I hate going back there. It's like PTSD almost now.
I
hate
going to the mall, especially Woodgrove.
Yeah,
it is like PTSD.
Oh, it's brutal.
Jesus, it's terrible.
Yeah, I went back yesterday, and I was like,
I hate seeing people there.
I was like, it's Friday. Yeah, the people that you see at the mall are the people that you just don't want to see.
Yeah, I really hate seeing people there. I know everybody hates seeing other people there for some reason, but I feel like I really do hate a lot of it.
I just hate like seeing people that you haven't seen in a while. It's just like, sometimes what's up, man? What's going on?
Sometimes I love it, honestly. Yeah. I'm pretty good with people, honestly, but sometimes I just like. Oh, there's some people that just like have like it's like PTSD.
Yeah.
It just brings up bad memories. I'm like, oh god damn it.
Damn it. I just have the same like. I don't know, like you mentioned, it's cool seeing some people you haven't seen in a long time, but like other people, like it's probably a reason we haven't talked in like this long amount of time. Like maybe we're friends, just because like I don't know, you and me didn't talk for a long time, but like no, I know. I'm still like friends with you, totally fine.
Man, it's good
but
seeing
we just were never at the point to like, hey man, come hang out kind of thing, you know, and like that's totally fine. There's different like friends. You can still have friends that you don't see all the time or even talk to, you know, like. you can still be friends with people for myself.
Totally.
But then you have like your group of people, and I find that like getting older as well. Like
that's what's like really cool about the new type of media these days, the social media. Even though like everything's social, but people don't use it to what its true potential is.
Yeah.
Which can really be like really nice communication with like friends that you haven't seen for a long time and stuff like that. Even which like starting this podcast, I wanted to talk to you about it. Like a lot of people that I haven't talked to in years have reached out to me, like you.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, like back in the day, since I went to school with him since kindergarten, and like all the way up through like grade 8, and I didn't talk to him since like grade 7, but he like reached out to me when I started this, and so it's been like fucking like almost 10 years basically.
Right.
And he's just like, buddy, what's up? I saw your boomstick joint. Let's meet up.
Yeah.
And like, and Mason, like the first time I launched the pilot, I'm pretty sure Mason Kelly, another guy we played with on season 1 of the Raiders.
Yeah.
Season X. And he's like, dude, I saw your podcast, and he just like messaged me a whole bunch of stuff, and he's like, I love what's going on. I'm a fan basically. I love podcasts these days. You need a guy like Jamie to keep you on track. You need like a fact checker guy. I'm like,
I had to even
one step at a time. I want this, but yes, thank you very much.
Off that point, like Levi, who we played football with, he even reached out. He commented on my show the other day and like read his question on the air and stuff, and it was like,
oh sweet,
cool. Like social media has such, like you mentioned, like such a good place. It can
very
be
good
it can
potential.
be very well like run for people's lives, because it's also so stupid at the same time. Like
it can be stupid, but people make it stupid, dude.
Yeah,
it's just people.
I feel like
making
it's gotten
stupid.
better though. I feel like 3 years ago, people's Facebook rants were out of control. Like
Probably.
I don't need to.
I
hear
just
this.
got back onto Facebook. There's a post that I made on there not too recently before I started the whole podcast, where I'm like, wasn't really on it for like years.
Yeah.
Didn't even look at it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm a lot heavier on it now, but I don't look at it that much, but yeah, it seems definitely, I think, a little bit more positive.
Yeah, I think people have cleaned up a bit. Like
from what I've heard from other people tell me, basically.
Yeah, just for a while there was like, when like Facebook fights, like I haven't seen of like people arguing aside from those like Nanaimo pages where it's like, who knows, arguing about Tent City or something.
Yeah,
like,
there's some, like even like the sales pages on Nanaimo can attract some really strange people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like the rants page. Like I don't know, the rant might be fun, but the real fun's in the comments. Like when you start reading comments, that's when it really goes down. But at the same time, it's like social media can be so stupid. But I like something that Gary Vee says all the time is like social media, like it exposes you at the same time. Like it's putting your ideas, like he talked about it actually with Joe really well and made a good point. Like the thing that you saw in the news, if Donald Trump was doing something, and I really don't want to talk anything about Trump because I completely have no idea what I'm talking about. But
same.
Like, if Donald Trump said something, you would have just been yelling at your TV. Now, you can punch in a tweet, you can send a tweet, and other people can see it. Before, you were just yelling at the TV.
Yeah, totally.
But now everyone can see your tweet. Now you're yelling into social media, right? Like, it exposes people to a certain point.
And that's what people are using it the wrong way.
Yeah.
If people were to do something like this, start a podcast, because literally anybody can start a podcast these days, whether it be on Anchor, they can just hold the button and
Anchor's
talk.
so easy, yeah.
It's a really cool app, dude.
Yeah.
And like anybody can just start their own podcast, and they can get their ideas across in a much longer, a much more sophisticated way, where they really express their ideas.
Because you can explain a lot more in a podcast than a tweet, right?
And
like,
they can see
you
your
can tell
face,
what's
they
behind
can see
that
your
tweet.
intent. Usually, I like the video thing because they can see my body, they can see my gestures and my intent. Usually.
Yeah, this is my first time on a video recording, I think. Or I do it for my show every like Facebook Live hour, but
I saw a few clips of you guys. You have a good setup. You're all like mic'd up. You got like a little script in front of you.
Oh yeah,
I can tell.
yeah. The studio's
awesome.
awesome.
Everything's awesome. I'm like, fuck, that looks awesome. And then your voice is sick. You're able to do like a nice little. You cut to the music. You got a little commercial.
Yeah,
in there.
like I mentioned, our producer,
cool.
he kills it, man. He does a really good job. I get into so many fights with him on the air, like talking actual points, but like honestly, he does a great job. And Dylan's kick ass, man. Dylan's like the smartest hockey guy I've ever like heard talk about hockey. Like out of my friends, he's so smart about it.
We have a close friend. His name is Josh Norris. Friends with me and Bruce, who is like literally the smartest guy hockey wise I've ever known.
Yeah.
And like since we saw your podcast, we're like, dude, we should try to get Josh on it.
Yeah.
He's so amazing. If we ever have time, maybe we'll try to introduce you. But he lives in Vancouver. But he's where is your podcast like mainly like held? Is it here on the island, right?
So basically, me and Dylan are here in Nanaimo.
Yeah.
Isha's down in Victoria or Colwood. It's like the word that we're trying to make a thing. Like if something's real like ghetto, we call it Colwood. I don't know why.
Gotcha.
They're all about it. It's like it's a thing with our show.
Doesn't matter where you live.
Yeah, it's a thing with our show now, I guess. Like that's Colwood, bro. That's Colwood. Like it's fun to say anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we'll record through Skype. Just do a Skype record. Like me and Dylan will be on one side in one room, and then Isha down in the other one. And then yeah, it's it's pretty, like, it's a lot of fun, and we have a lot of really good guests. Like, we've had a lot of
the guests make it awesome.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like,
it's such a different...
I'm super appreciative of you coming on today.
Yeah, thanks,
and, like,
man.
the last time we had Coach on, he was the other real guest.
He was an awesome guest.
And that was amazing.
Yeah.
And that was the one that had, like, the most views. It just, like, made over, like, 300
people
views.
want to, like, know. Like, people care about his
really
story.
Interesting guy.
You know, I don't know if anyone cares about my story, but maybe somebody will from Stick and Rink will come, you know, check this out. That's cool.
It's a good story,
because we have
like
some awesome fans, too. We have, like, the same couple guys that call in every Sunday to the show. We get a lot of calls, actually, like, averaging probably like 4 or 5 calls every Sunday now, which is cool to hear people's takes, right?
Well, it can produce a lot of nice little questions and content.
Yeah, exactly.
If people call in, that's awesome.
Like, getting sponsors was awesome too. Like, helps pay for.
Oh yeah.
Because there's cost behind putting out.
If anybody wants to sponsor this, we are open for sponsorship.
Yeah, it's easy, man. Go up and like the way I got sponsors was just talking to. Like, going on Twitter, and I would just, you know, tweet. Twitter's
the one place I'm not really on. I've been thinking
That's
about
my favorite.
The last
favorite
24,
social media.
I love Instagram, dude.
Yeah?
I'm in love with it.
Instagram is good, too, but I find that Twitter, for myself, like, knowing, like, trying to be in the know for all hocky stuff,
yeah.
Twitter's just great for that.
I just watched a Gary Vee video last night, and I'm like, you know what, I need to be on Twitter.
Yeah,
like, I need to be a lot more active on Twitter, because I just don't go on it. Just like the same way I was avoiding Facebook for the last, like, 4 years. I've been avoiding Twitter for even longer.
Yeah.
So I need to get...
I've always liked Twitter just because, like, it's a good combination of, like, humor and information and also, like, opinions. Like, it's a lot of that mix into one, but also having only 240 characters doesn't mean you can just be go on a fucking crazy rant.
Yeah.
But, oh, yeah. Whoa, zooming in a little bit there.
No, I needed to start another recording.
Oh.
It can only record for 30 minutes at a time.
Oh, that's right. See, dude, like, I don't know, my podcasts are like 2 hours long, so like recording it when I thought I was gonna go here for 30 minutes, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be really like short. It's gonna feel like a minute gone by.
We can usually, I think the YouTube thing too, I can only upload videos that are only like 45 minutes long as the maximum.
Oh really?
I don't know how other people do it. I see
other people with like 12 hours of watching waves crash or something.
That's true. Like, I don't know how they do it.
How's that on there?
I feel like it's something to do with going live.
Maybe.
Or like another tier of YouTube membership.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten into it yet.
Once you hit a certain amount, you can go off, I guess.
This is where I am.
45
I'm on Spotify too, okay?
Yeah, Spotify's the way to do it.
And I'm gonna be on. And we're gonna go on. I'm gonna make sure I'm on Anchor from now on too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big thing for me, and I kind of mentioned, I talked to you about this before. I was like, man, I wish it was on audio. And like Gary makes a good point as well. I talk about Gary Vee a lot. I don't really like him that much. But
I do love Gary Vee.
I liked him at the start, but like I mentioned, it's just so repetitive. But he does make a lot of really good points about like the world and social media and the way everything's moving forward. I think he makes a lot of good points about that. One of them was like time, like I talked about at work. You know, I can't sit down and watch a YouTube version of you, but I can listen to the pod. Well, I mean, I could, but I just put it in my pocket and it wouldn't matter. But like having voice. He says all the time, it's time, right? It's giving you back time.
Yeah.
But you, like, that's why I wanted to ask you, because you say you'll sit down and just like YouTube and watch a Joe Rogan podcast. That's how you'd like it.
I will watch. I don't even watch TV anymore. Everything I do, when Gary's like, everything I do is on my phone. I put on YouTube and I watch Joe Rogan. I stand my phone up and I get high, or I eat, or I make dinner, or I just put a podcast on and I'll watch it from like across the room, just so I can get kind of. I don't see the whole thing, but dude, if I could put like. If I had some TV, I'd put on my TVs in a second if there wasn't other people that were like distracted by it, because I live with other people.
Yeah.
But I put on just a little Bluetooth speaker, and I have my little system, and I just carry it wherever I go. I have my podcast, and I'm just like right there, and I have my big speaker.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's the future. I love it. I hate TVs because everything I watch is on my phone. I don't watch enough Netflix on my phone, but
yeah, that's the thing I've never done.
But I
you totally could. Yeah.
But I started doing it not too long ago. I'm like, whoa, this is totally what I can do, because I watch YouTube videos constantly.
Right.
I'm like, why don't I watch Netflix shows?
How much data do you have a month? Do you go through a lot of data or what? Because I
have 2
go
gigs
through
of data, but I only do that kind of stuff when I'm here.
Yeah.
If I want to watch, I don't usually watch podcasts anywhere else but home, honestly. But Spotify helps for that.
I work in, like I mentioned, a really cushy job in the mill. So the description of my job is called the drop gate. When we literally got rid of the drop gate. So I'm in a zone like doing a job where it's not actually a job to do. So I'm in this spot where
I've heard of these jobs.
So yeah, like I mentioned, a union job. So the wood comes out, like the big cants of wood comes out into the boards, cuts it out into the boards, and I basically just watch them turn into boards. Like, and I literally just stand there and like if one starts turning,
the mill sounds hilarious.
Dude, this like I don't know. My friends always think it's like when I'm telling stories about the mill, like when I'm drunk at the bar.
Yeah.
People are just losing their mind, but I'm just like telling them what happened this week, like to me, and they just like. People are losing their minds sometimes on these stories that I tell, and I'm like, I'm literally just telling you what my working was.
Well, the jobs some people have are insane.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, like, I was at
My
Yisk.
job's insane.
I worked at Yisk, the furniture store. It was like a retail store for like 2 years. and before that I worked at Tim Hortons for like almost a year, and before that Toys R Us. But some people, there were some guys at that Yes job that like were there for like 6 years. And, like, these people just stay at these jobs that are really shit.
Yeah.
For the longest time.
Oh, I know.
And, like, honestly, every single job that I've left, whether I got fired or whether I quit just because I fucking hate it, every single job I've gotten after has been better.
Yeah.
Every time.
Oh, totally.
I went from, like, Toys R Us, and I got fired because it was, like, my first job. It was a seasonal thing, and they're like, fuck you. Yeah. And I killed I literally, like, sacrificed my body for that, like, franchise. And they just fired me, put me on my ass. And then I got a job at Tim Hortons. Fuck.
Yeah, Tim Hortons would be a bad one, I feel like.
It was bad for me, too, because I was pretty tall and, like, pretty big at the time. And it's just hard for me to move around, but I was there for, like, 8 months. Yeah. And then I was like, fuck this. They threatened to fire me for, like, this stupid thing. And I was like, okay, fuck you, I'm quitting. Yeah. And then I went to Yisk right away. I tried to get a job at Nordia. All the jobs that I've, like, tried to get a job at when I had, like, good references where Bruce's worked at, I've never been able to work there for some reason, just because of the universe. Yeah. And so I worked at Yes for like 2 years. I liked it for a long time, but it's just shit. Just like minimum wage, just sucked. The hours, like the paycheck sucked. And then after that, I got a job at like a tow truck, as a tow truck driver, which I did that for like 7 months. And that was basically the best job I ever had. I was like, this is, boom, I'm moving up in the world, baby. I went for this. I'm driving a tow truck.
Makes you feel like you're like, it's like a real job, you know, like towing trucks, right? It's like this is a career or something.
Working with my hands, I feel like it can be a career. I'm learning a lot. I learned a lot from it.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
But then again, I wasn't really very experienced, so I might have bumped a few things, and I got fired. So and then I'm like, fuck, I got fired, and then I went did some door-to-door sales. I worked at a liquor store, but like every single job I've like moved in the transition, I've learned so much from every transition.
That's a really good point.
Just from mindset, and like people who are staying in these jobs for like 6 years, they are just not learning anything.
Yeah,
they're just not learning anything to what like they're just not, and you know they're not doing that much like in their personal life. If they're staying stagnant is what I say. If they're staying stagnant in their job or their career for like 6 years, you know they're probably pretty stagnant in their personal life. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're not learning as much. Life in general. Yeah. And like really people should just be like always just trying so many things, and like don't be afraid to leave your fucking job, because there's always, the grass is always greener on the other side, no matter what. And like I thought the tow truck thing was the best job I ever had, but I got fired and I was like, fuck. But I kept a good mindset, and I was like, and I found the next best job I ever had, which it wasn't the best job ever, but it was a door-to-door sales job for a stupid charity, which was like kind of, it's like all greasy, kind of weird. But I was only there for a few weeks. But I met my friend Parker, who got me into this all kind of like, it was a big creative push to kind of start the podcast and do all these other things with photography and like editing and stuff. So everything that has just opened its gate. It's like a destiny thing too. It's just like, just do stuff, and it's the right thing. What you're doing is the right decision. Don't be afraid to just stay where you are because it's comfy or anything. Not that that's a push to you in your comfy union job. It's awesome. If you have one of those, I think you should stay there. But you're also doing the podcast and lots of other stuff.
That's the thing for me is like keeping, like you said, people that just stay at a job for so long and they're not doing, they're stagnant. But like, you know, if you're like having like a hobby, I think like that for me that's why doing the podcast was so much fun, because I didn't have a hobby for like a year. Yeah, and I was starting to get to that point of like, you know, like I'm just working and getting drunk on the weekends.
Totally,
like, and
it's
just
terrible,
keep doing
right? It's
that.
a bad feeling.
Yeah, and then like people don't understand like how much fun I actually have doing a
it's
doing
so
my
fun.
podcast.
I'm having a great time right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's actually like last night I recorded, just like we went to the bar and actually recorded in 3 parts. So went to the pub pretty early in the afternoon. Then we recorded like when I came back. I said, yeah, like let's try and record a podcast. It'll be fun. We'll just kind of bullshit like we're kind of doing here with my buddy Bryce. And then we did part 2 where we got all baked and then, like, you know, kept going for part 2. And then part 3 we came back from the pub at like 11 o'clock and we did a part 3. So I'm gonna like chop it up and put it together and see what it sounds like. Also like really curious what part of the conversation is gonna be the best, like the sober with a couple beer part, or the high part, or the really drunk part. That's like funny. One of them's gonna be way better than the other one. So I'm excited to see which one of how that works out. I'm actually gonna like get home and see if I can edit that up, and because I'm gonna be like in your boat like 10 episodes ago. Like I've never actually done the editing and putting one up, so I'm gonna try it out and see how it goes.
It's easier than you think, and everything I do is just like I use free editors. Everything I do is like free software. Like everything I could be doing, I could be doing it like 10 times what I'm doing with like paying for stuff and getting better equipment. But right now it is what it is, like I've said before. But I was gonna say something. Like conversation is like so undervalued these days. Like people are just texting and stuff, like face to face. I've never been big on the phones, except for like as a tool. I like using it for like an entertainment tool and stuff like that. But I hate communicating on it for the most part. I much prefer like a phone call.
I like phone calls. Yeah, I'm way more phone call myself. Like with my good friends, it's not like I'll text, you know, and see what's going on. But it's like when you want to talk to someone, I always phone call. Yeah,
but people just don't like face to face interaction as much anymore, and they're really bad with like getting their ideas across. And if people like question their ideas, they get defensive right away.
Yeah.
And it's just like the conversations these days.
Podcasts
are
is so
brutal.
good for that though too.
Podcasts are great
it's
for
so
that.
great for like creating conversations.
Creating conversations, finding like-minded people that you can listen to those podcasts, and then again, if you start your own, because everybody can do that. I'm a big advocate for people like starting their own, just trying it, because like having conversations with people, it's amazing. You learn so much. It makes you grow as a person.
Yeah.
But I've been reading this book these days, and just it talks about how all the technological information is like it just kind of kills our empathy, and like
especially
really,
online. Yeah.
What's the word? I can really relate to that because when I had my first relationship with my first girlfriend, basically I didn't even know what the word empathy was.
Yeah.
Like I
probably learned it from Gary Vee, to be honest, to bring him up again.
I knew sympathy and like shit like that, but she's like, you gotta be more empathetic. I'm like, what is empathetic?
Yeah.
She's like, empathy, to like feel like that. I'm like, okay, for sure. And like she literally taught me that. Like I didn't know what empathy was, and like we've literally just don't feel empathetic towards people. We just like shout our ideas at people online or Twitter, but we don't actually like converse with them, look them in the eye, and like a lot of people get uncomfortable with a direct eye contact.
Yeah.
And like it's all about looking at them, feeling them, and like having that conversation. And like this stuff just helps with all of that.
Yeah, I think that's like a thing about society almost.
It
like
is.
I don't know. There's like something that I talk about when I actually have these kind of conversations has like the world gotten like too PC? Like, is it too politically correct sometimes?
It's definitely too political correct.
It's way too much to me. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I
like,
get into this argument
Joe
all
gets
the time.
Good, he has a good idea about it when it's just like words are it's a way of expressing intent.
Yeah.
Basically, right? Like you can say something, but it's not your intent, or like I don't know how he says it exactly, but it's all about intent. Like even if I say something, you can usually tell what my intent is, if it's that or like not that, if I'm being sarcastic or whatever.
Yeah.
But and like these stand-up comedians these days are just getting brutalized in a lot of the stuff they're saying.
That's a spot where they can actually like still get away with it. We should be able to do
whatever we want. Like I should be able to say whatever I want on this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't really care what anybody says about it. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I'll say whatever I want. Like I'll do whatever I want on it, and that's what's so great about it. If anybody, like, I don't know, like that's what's so great about making your own. And then Joe says that too. No one's telling him what to do.
It's just different for me in like real life. Like I know that this is real life. We're recording
too,
a podcast, but like outside of podcasts.
I try to do whatever I want still in real life too.
Yeah,
I try to just
that's
take
a
it
good
with
thing.
it. I try to take it in stride.
Yeah.
And if people get like, when people get defensive, and I'm like, I just don't like making the world comfy for other people. You know what? I'm not going to change myself in the way I view things or the way I even talk to make your life comfier.
Yeah.
To keep you in your little bubble.
I just hate it when it's like taking that to the extreme is like when you're not like. When people are like saying that your PC isn't PC enough, like that's just like that's mind blowing to me. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. I just think the world's gotten soft a lot. Like a lot of parts of the world are soft.
I'm never gonna jump into a conversation and like say like and attack someone just for something that they said. But I'll always keep to myself basically. But if someone comes up to me and like starts talking to me and like I'll express my ideas the way I think of them. And then if they like all of a sudden think. They come to me and then they attack me. Yeah, like that's just brutal. They can't just attack people for like their ideas and the way they say things.
Even if they think that that's what the world kind of turns it, right? Like turning them into believing that that's the right way, and you saying something differently is like, no, you're so wrong. Like, but like you still should be able to entitled to an opinion and empathy. Yeah, exactly. Like
you gotta know try to understand where they're coming from.
That's what podcasts are so good about.
It's craziness.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff about the world that just like I just find so stupid. Like I don't know. One thing that I really think was like, and I got in an argument the other day with someone about this. It was like, I still think that like parents should spank their kids. I think you learn like I learned discipline. Like
I think
from
there's
getting
other types of discipline, but I've only gotten spanked like probably once.
Yeah.
But
I got it a lot. My mom did it a lot.
Physical discipline I don't think is the way to go personally. But like it's never like depending on the situation.
Yeah.
I think like 1 or 2 spankings in your childhood.
Yeah.
Are fine. Yeah.
I got spanked if I locked myself in the bathroom.
If it's every day, then like you're beating your kids.
Right. Yeah. So exactly. I wouldn't argue that much, but I'd say like I can remember what I did to get spanked. Yeah. Like the worst spankings I got. I remember as a kid. I went like one time. I locked myself in the bathroom, turned on all the water. I was like 7 or 6 years old. I turned on all the water and turned the whole house.
For the most time, right?
Yeah, like the fucking bathroom was like up to my knees, and before my dad like kicked in the door.
When your parents tell you the story, it's like, dude, you filled up you broke the house with water. It's like, I probably should have got my ass kicked for that one.
Yeah, that's probably worth a spanking.
For sure.
Like if I had like a little sit down talk. And like the way that people want to like discipline your kids now, you're not even supposed to discipline your kids now. I don't think. Like people are saying, just keep positive enforcement.
Yeah.
And like I love that. Like
I talk to like real people. I don't think I'm gonna be like the best dad. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be a dad, but I mean, when I talk, I don't know if I'm the best with kids.
Yeah.
I just I try to treat them just as regular people.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I just roll into it. I don't obviously I don't use foul language or anything for the most part, but I just try to I basically just try to talk with regular ideas like a regular person. Yeah. I think they're a lot smarter than most people give them credit for.
I think so.
Because when I was a kid, I remember being really smart.
Yeah.
And I just remember people thinking that I was dumb, and I was just presented to them a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't want to do that.
I just fuck with kids. They're so easy to fuck around with.
Easy to fuck with.
They believe anything you say. Like my dad, he's like a grandfather now.
Jesus Christ, the sun just got hot.
Yeah, dude, it is. I'm just starting to glean.
I noticed you're just trying to glisten. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's hot right now.
You should see it in the studio when we're recording some days. It's so hot in that little CHLY studio. But what was I gonna say there? My dad, he just fucks with the grandkids so much. He's got them kids thinking that he's a vampire slayer at night. He's got them think that he dated Britney Spears back in the day. He just lies to them so much. But it's all these fun lies, and they believe, and then they figure it out.
Yeah, of course.
When they get older, they'll understand you're not a vampire hunter, really.
Yeah,
and he's I don't know, but funny. I just love messing around with kids too. I just talk shit to them. Not swear, but talk shit because they're going to talk shit back.
There was this kid that we at the Jamboree the other few weeks ago. Me and Bruce were filming it, and Bruce was on the tripod with the thing, and I was getting all the action shots basically. And this kid was just was around Bruce, just shit talking Bruce basically, just being dude, your shots suck, blah blah blah. I got my own YouTube channel, I'm the shit. And he's if I'm a safety linebacker, I'd beat the shit out of all these kids. I'm Pee Wee, and and then I show up, I'm who's this kid? And he's dude, this kid is chirping me hard, and then he starts chirping me. And it was the kid was hilarious, but you have to give it back to him. You can't let him get away with that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I used to coach. I used to coach the Pee-wees, and I had kids that I had nicknames for them, little shit and mouthpiece. I remember the kid was a mouthy little shit. I called him mouthpiece. I didn't call them by their names. It was a lot of fun coaching those kids too, though. And now that they're in grade 12, right now I think, or this past couple of years, they're always they still call me coach. I seen one of them out in the bar the other time. He's hey coach, what's going on? I'm I'm just a regular dude, man. I'm coaching in Pee-wee, but for them, I think it meant a lot that I was in grade 12 coming and helping these Pee-wee kids. I think it meant a lot because they really it's kind of bragging, but these kids are really enjoy seeing me even still to this day. They're always oh, Coach Faber, what's going on?
I've seen that before with a few buddies of mine. The coaches really do have an impact.
I think so because I don't know. I kind of had the same. I had the same baseball coach from the age of 12 to 19.
No, they totally do. Yeah, even I me going down there and filming some of the stuff. Dude, some of the coaches down at Barsby are just awesome.
Yeah, you guys have amazing coaches down there.
Finstad, some of the guys I've made some videos for if you guys have seen them. But I always have a few times Larry. One of the videos he just had a nice speech. Ended the video with a nice speech of Larry. Larry's awesome. They just got Visa. You know Visa, right, Curtis?
Yeah. I remember him.
He's coaching down there now.
For a bit.
He's working down at this high school now. And dude, I never really met him personally, with the whole weightlifting thing.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing Coach. He's just an awesome guy. He's really good with all the kids in the school and stuff.
No doubt.
They got a great bunch of guys down there.
Yeah.
Coaches make a huge difference.
Oh, I think so. It's
there can be definitely bad coaches and really great coaches.
Yeah, I've had some bad coaches in my time, but
a bad coach made me quit football.
Yeah, exactly. I had a Stevenson as well. I had Nate. You guys obviously had Rob, but I had Nate from. I remember when I first started playing football, we didn't have Pee-wee at Bars or at ND, and I grew up down the road here too, so I should have gone to Barsby, but I was French immersion, but I grew up on Deering Street, right there. My best friend lived right there in that house.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, I grew up just down the road, so I went to Barsby for all the flag leagues and I played it, and the coaches were so much fun.
It's crazy that I never really met you before. How old are you again?
25. I always forget. I've been telling people I'm 26 for a couple of weeks, and then I went back and looked, and I did the math. I was I'm only 25.
Yeah, you're 3 years older than me. That's probably why.
Yeah, so we would have never had actually played against each other. I guess with a 3-year difference. But yeah, no, I played at ND, and I was on the first ND team that beat Barsby actually the first time ever. I was a grade 8, and I was playing on the grade 12 team, so I was really big. And
you were singing on the plaques.
Yeah, no, it was funny. I mean, that was pretty awesome. And then my age group went against Barsby. We lost 65-0. We would get slapped sometimes.
Yeah,
we'd have I hated it. We'd show up sometimes. We'd have 20, 30, probably 30-ish kids on the team. We'd show up to a Barsby game with 16 kids. Half the kids wouldn't even show up.
They'd quit.
And I was what the hell? And then the other kids would start getting injured.
That's so
Faber, you want to play quarterback today? I'm
I couldn't imagine kids not showing up for the football game.
Man. Yeah, I know. And I talked about this with Dexter about how different the idea of football is at Barsby than it is at ND.
Really?
It was so different. He just said what Dex said was awesome was like, and we use Nathan Tellier as an example. Like, if you're an athlete, at some point you're gonna be fucking playing football at Barsby. You're gonna play football.
Yeah.
Like, at ND, it wasn't like that. Like, there's a ton of athletes that could have been really good on the football field that just didn't play or like didn't want to. But at Barsby, and Dexter was saying like, you just be poking guys, like all the big guys, like you got to play football, you got to play football, and like it actually worked. But like at ND, it just didn't, and that was like the biggest difference that we talked about like a couple weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, we just like football around there for sure.
Yeah,
it was
it's
a big
cool.
thing.
Yeah, and I grew up too. It sucked living a block from Barsby.
They have like a turf field over there now. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it looks kick ass. And like, I think that the program's gone a lot better too. Like, before me,
they got a lacrosse program there too.
Yeah,
now.
it's crazy. Like, they were always talking about a baseball one too, because obviously it's Roxman Stadium right there.
Yeah.
There was always like talk of that maybe happening in the future, and that would be so awesome if it did. But I mean, I think like the idea of like academies for sports is really cool too. Like,
there's gonna be some awesome stuff. I've said it before. This community right here, man. There's gonna be some crazy shit happening.
Yeah.
Like Barsby's like becoming like a performance academic academy, like performance athletic academy.
Right.
Basically, there's like 2 lacrosse boxes right down the
the
street.
new one I heard is really
Brand
nice
new.
too.
It's giant. It's covered. It's got speakers. It's got like sprinklers if there's a fire. It's huge. And there's another one that's right beside it that's just doesn't have a roof on it.
Yeah.
And with that artificial turf field being built, there's the sport track right there, the baseball field, the ice rink, there's the aquatic center. Holy shit!
It's
like,
cool.
You can do everything just like we get 3-5 block radius from each other.
We never need to leave the city. It's starting to like
leave
have
this little
everything.
community.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
the quality foods they're building down the road too. There's a lot of stuff they're gonna start building right in Harewood. Like that quality foods looks dope.
I remember that was a co-op, right?
There's a co-op still there, but
it used to be the actual grocery store. Right?
It might
Co-op
have
used to have
been.
grocery stores.
Yeah, I remember there used to be grocery stores for sure.
Yeah, that was like I said, I've grown up here. Like, it's funny, I don't come back to, like, now I live in like kind of central part, and I'd never really come through like this part of town in a long time. Like, I see stuff and I'm like, man, like, I grew up here from, I think when I was 5 when we moved from Cedar into here. So then I grew up from 5 to, 18, 19. Yeah, and I always loved it too. And like, it was always, I don't know, people talk about so much about kids now, like not getting out and doing stuff, but at the time, like, we could easily round up a group of kids and go hit the field and play football, like, easy. Yeah. Like, there was like, I could yell in my backyard at like other kids playing in the other yard. We'd go out and play, and like, it was nothing like what people talked about sometimes, like being like bad place, you know, like I never felt that. I never felt that once.
It's sketchy in Harewood.
Yeah.
I remember bringing my friends because I moved here when I was like probably like 12, 11.
Yeah.
It was like grade 7 from elementary school, and it was like central. I used to live central area around like Koltai and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So one day, like I catch the bus to school and shit. So like I would walk from wherever I was to the bus stop, catch it all the way there, and then 2 of my buddies wanted to come over for after school. So I was like, yeah, let's go on the bus. They're like, we've never been on the bus before. I'm like, you pussies are coming on the bus.
Yeah.
And we're going to Harewood. They're like, Harewood? They're like, what? Like, we're gonna get shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, for sure. That's why I brought these like release forms. You have to sign this to make sure like you can't sue my mom. They're like, what? I'm like, I'm just fucking with you. But like, dude, it's totally chill there. Like, just if you get stabbed, just hold it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, all we know down here is how to cover a stab wound.
Yeah.
Like, we learned that at 4 years old
it's
here.
Just, but it's like not like I don't know if people think that because it's a very like it's a really wholesome place for the most part.
Yeah.
I do like there's a lot of sketchy people and there's some weird shit, but like honestly, it's fun to watch those people.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. You just avoid them or wherever, but like they're not gonna like hurt you.
Yeah.
They're not gonna hurt you. They're like pretty nice for the most part. They're just like down on their luck.
Especially for like kids. I don't know. Like I'd never heard about like a kid getting like, you know, hurt. I remember hearing about like high school drama, fights and stuff.
Back in the day,
like
like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's how it used to be. Nothing like that happens anymore.
No, I don't think so. But, you know, I remember that.
One of the best high schools in town for sure.
Barsby? Yeah, well, people try and get into Barsby, right? Like, it's always full.
Amazing.
It's always full.
It's an amazing school.
Guys from even guys like in Cedar area that try and get into Barsby because it is like a good school.
You
but
can do
it's got a bad rep
program,
for no reason.
Cooking program, lots of stuff.
Yeah, I remember hearing.
They're going to start doing a lot of stuff down there, actually. I was talking to Coach not too long ago. I went down there and talked to all the high school kids. And Coach like asked me to talk to her about the podcast really quick because I was just taking a few shots of them weightlifting. And they're like, come tell them what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, I got this podcast, yada, yada, yada. Just started it. They asked me some questions. I'm like, yeah, just started it. Fuck it. It's fun.
Yeah.
And Coach is like, you guys could, like, start your own, like, Bulldogs cast and stuff. And like, you know what? That's actually a really cool idea.
It is.
And it could be something that the seniors could do. It could be like 2 seniors every episode, and it could be 2 different seniors.
That's a dope idea.
Every episode, and then the next year it could be seniors again. You know, like it would just be different. That'd be really cool.
That is cool. That's
and like
a cool
you guys could totally do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could do a podcast for anything, man.
Podcasts are great. I just love them. When you said the stuff like there's a lot of like crazy stuff, bad stuff for the society and all that shit. It might be like a really weird, positive, optimistic outlook, but I think like the emergence of podcasts and what podcasts can do, I think they can almost like change the world. Like if I'm like being like a hippie, but I feel like podcasts can literally change.
On
the
our
world.
show, we call that a reach, but it's got some good points.
I feel like they can kind of like do that, but
it can open conversation that wasn't happening before, right?
Yeah,
like
and if people feel alone, they can feel not as alone with them.
Yeah, I always like that one meme. Have you seen it with like what it's like to listen to a podcast? It's like the kids standing there beside like the wall of. It's like a painting of people talking in a circle. It's like a guy just like standing outside the picture. It's like what it's like listening to a podcast because like you're there with these people that you aren't actually there with.
That's funny.
Thing. Yeah, that's a really bad explanation. That must be bad podcasting if you're trying to explain a picture. Like I listen to some podcasts and they have this one and it's got meme of the week.
Okay, that's fucked.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, we're probably end this anyway because it's 54 minutes and 30 seconds.
Damn.
But a guy just started jackhammering behind us, so I don't want that to fuck with anything. So sorry about that. But dude, it's been a lot of fun having you on.
You bet, man. It's been
Thanks
awesome.
for coming by. Let's hug it out.
You bet.
Again. Oh, good seeing you.
Right on.
And, give me the guns. Give me the guns, guys. StratOCast episode 11 is over. If you guys want to just take a look on Spotify, search it up. Just StratOCast on Spotify, and you can take a look at my YouTube channel. Just Ryan Stratton. Find us on Facebook. All that good stuff. Just tell us how we're doing. Tell us if you like this. If you want Faber on again, let me know. Because I do. Because he was awesome.
Hell yeah.
It's over here. I got to end it. Peace out, guys.